Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a comparison between the Neca Ultimate Predator from the original film and the recently released Mezco figure, which is a slightly different scale, but they're both from the same movie. Both awesome figures. I'm going to go point to point and see which one has the best stuff. There's a bit of a price difference between the two, but I'll let you discover that for yourself depending on when you're actually watching this video. Could be years after the fact, so just investigate that for yourself. But yeah, you got the Ultimate Neca figure, which is like 7-inch scale, and he's about, I guess when he first comes out you can get him for about $30, $35 in America. I got mine for about £39.99, and that was quite after a while after it was released. And I got this one from Nightmare Toys for 100 and something pounds. Sorry, I can't be more specific than that. I'm rubbish at keeping track of what I pay for stuff, but it was like 130, 140 maybe, shipped to the UK, and I'm sure it'll go up in value. It's going to be very popular. I reviewed this recently on the channel. Check out that review maybe before you watch this one. I've also reviewed the Neca figure on the channel as well. Maybe check those individual videos out first before checking out this one. But this is going to be fun though, because I haven't thought about it much, but I've been noticing little things as I've been setting up the, the display here for the thumbnail. And it's not, it's not too clear cut who's going to win this, as far as I'm concerned yet. But I did a little mod to the skull and spine that comes with the Mezco figure. I just bent it to kind of hang like that in his hand, and I did the same thing a while back with the Neca one. The skull and spine was straight originally, so that's just one thing I've done, and that's it really. So let's just see everything it comes with. So you got the Mezco box here, it's very nice, and you get the spare head with the interchangeable mandibles, and you get the med kit there, lovely base that the Mezco figure can stand on, and including the ones he's got on the body, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands, and interchangeable lengths of the blades that come out of his gauntlet, and the nice plasma caster effect, the blue there, that can plug into the shoulder cannon, which is just beside him at the moment. Haven't got it on him at the present time. There's the old VHS from when I was younger, still in mint condition. And then with the Neca figure, you've got the figure himself. He comes with his spine and a extra skull, and 2 other hands, the plasma caster blaster blue bit, a spare Biomask, and a spare head with the closed mandibles look. So you get a lot of stuff with each one. They didn't leave much out. The Neca figure doesn't come with a base, but you can get those separately. Almost forgot to mention, folks, I did repaint, well, I added blood to the long blades on the Mezco figure, and I repainted this skull and spine for the Mezco figure as well. That was nowhere near bloody enough. And the Neca one over here, I did a little bit of a repaint on that too. It's a bit more nasty and grimy looking to begin with, kind of a greyish kind of nasty colour to it, so it looks really gory. But I'm going to be, I've made a little list here on my bit of paper, and we've got mask, dreads, skin, armour, accessories, box, posability. Those are some of the things I'm going to be comparing. So I'm going to start with the Biomask, and I'm going to give that straight away to the Neca figure. It's just closer to the original film, and it's weird, the pose I've got the Mezco in right now, that almost looks like the Predator 2 mask. I think it's just the way I've got him kind of looking up, because it makes the dreads look a bit longer. I like him kind of slightly looking up like that, but from this angle anyway, it does remind me of the Predator 2, and that might be because of all the pitting in the mask as well. Someone mentioned in the comments for the review for this figure that it shouldn't have all that pitting in there, and that's true. So I would give the point to the Neca figure when it comes to the mask. Now honestly, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research before I carry on and find out which eyes are more accurate, because this one by Neca doesn't really have any mesh, it's just kind of reflective black, whereas the Mezco figure definitely clearly has the mesh look. So I'm just going to go off and see what I can spot on Google. Alright, so I just had a little look on Google and I found a brilliant picture of Kevin Peter Hall in the suit in broad daylight, kind of behind the scenes, wearing the full get up with the mask on. And it didn't look like there was any mesh there. It was very much kind of a reflective surface. There may be a mesh underneath that or something, but I can't see it in that image. So it's certainly not as prominent as the one here looks from Mezco. I mean, you can really, there's no getting away from the mesh effect there on the eyes. So definitely I'm going to give the point to the Neca figure when it comes to the Biomask being more accurate. And now we'll move on to the dreads. Alright, so when it comes to the dreadlocks, I'd have to give it to the Mezco figure just because of how easy they are to work with. They're all individual, very much like Hot Toys Predator dreadlocks. Same feel. Also, I'd worry, same issue as the Hot Toys ones with the gold paint on the beads wearing away over time and fading. Whereas that's not going to happen with the Neca one. Although it does chip a little bit on the Neca one. I noticed as I was moving the dreads around, some of the gold paint was flaking off. And some of them, I think some of them might be kind of joined together on the Neca one. But mostly they're individual, but they're quite stiff. And you can pose them, you could heat them up and put them in position and then let them cool down and they'd be fine. But yeah, I would definitely personally give the dreadlocks to the Mezco one. They're just really nicely done. So far we've got the Biomask going to the Neca figure and the dreadlocks going to the Mezco. Now when it comes to the skin, I have been sitting here for a while looking at different pictures. This is a really nice clear one. Gives us a good look at how long the dread should be as well. But I don't know how the Canon camera here is going to be making that color come across, but it's not as banana rotten kind of yellow as I kind of think of it in my head sometimes. Whereas the Mezco figure here is actually pretty damn accurate to the color I'm seeing in some of these behind the scenes pictures. And the Neca one definitely has that rotten banana yellow thing going on, but probably a bit too much if I'm being honest with you, which I am, as I always am. But yeah, looking into it, and also you can get a good look at the eyes here. Let's just zoom in here. Sorry about all the fingerprints on the phone, that doesn't look very good, does it? Right. Yeah, I just couldn't see any mesh on the eyes there, just a very reflective surface. So yeah, I mean, I've checked different pictures. I've got some other ones here. Sorry about the fake blood on my thumb. But yeah, just not as yellowish as I remember. Or as I thought anyway. But then you look at a picture like this in the night with the lighting, artificial lighting, it looks a bit more yellow. And then obviously a shot from the movie, not quite yellow there. Another picture. Yeah, so sitting there doing my research again after years and years of being a fan. Yeah, I'd have to actually give this to, and I thought if you had have asked me before I filmed this which one I'd be giving the skin to, it would have been Neca, but no. I think, I mean, it's not very shiny looking here. Obviously they add that in the film when they're shooting the actual scenes. You can see the quills there on the arm. Alright, so anyway, yeah, turns out for the skin I'm going to be giving that to the Mezco, even though he should definitely have some more kind of black spotted areas around his shoulder leading to the chest area. The Neca one has that all present and correct, but is quite yellow, which I've always liked about it. but after looking at lots of pictures, I think I'm going to have to give it to Mezco. If only their Biomask was a little bit more like the Neca one. And speaking of that, this is interesting and exciting. The spare Biomask that you get with the Neca figure, you wouldn't really think, because it's different scales, that it would fit onto the spare head from Mezco here. But I tried putting it over. I removed the mandibles and just tried putting this over its face, and it will almost do it if I could just get these sections here to widen. And I know I can do that with a hairdryer and just heat this up and then probably get it to go onto the spare Mezco head. So I might try that in this video, or I might just keep it as a comparison and do this later, because it needs to be weathered as well. But I'm pretty damn sure I can get this spare Neca Biomask onto the other Mezco head, and that will be interesting. But yes, skin, I'm going to give it to... It's tricky because as far as the detail with the black kind of, or the dark brown spotted sections around the shoulder and coming down off the neck onto the chest area, that is better on the Neca figure. But overall, skin tone wise, from what I've seen in the pictures, I think it looks more like the Mezco one is taking that spot. So I would give skin to Mezco, but it's controversial, that one. I can imagine the comment section getting a bit leery. Fair play to you. Alright, so on to armor, and this is another one where I thought I was going to be giving it to the Mezco figure, because the Mezco armor is very reminiscent of the Hot Toys 1/6 scale original Jungle Hunter armor. Very much like they just shrunk that down and put it on this. It's even painted as good, maybe even better than the 1/6 scale Hot Toys armor on the Jungle Hunter. But after doing more research and looking at those pics, I think the Neca one has the edge, because the Neca one has that very subtle green kind of nasty mold kind of staining in certain places, and that's definitely present in the back behind the scenes pictures that I've seen of Kevin Peter Hall wearing the suit. So I do think it's going to have to go to the Neca figure when it comes to the armor. It could be a little bit more weathered, you could do that yourself, but it does have that important kind of nasty kind of swampy green kind of subtle wash somewhere, and you can see it on the one of the chest plates there. You can see it a little bit on that gauntlet over there too, and you can kind of see it on the legs. But they did a really good job for the price point on this. So in absolute all honesty, and it's not what I thought I'd be telling you, honestly, I thought I'd be giving it to the Mezco, I have to give it to Neca when it comes to the armor and the accuracy. Plus the kind of leather strapping that's on his chest there, that is a nice kind of accurate brown tone. Whereas the Mezco one is a little bit darker. You can't really see it at the moment. I have to turn him around. Yeah, it's a little bit darker, that strap there beneath the trophies around his neck. From what I've seen, that should be a slightly lighter brown tone, and that is how it looks on the Neca one. So yeah, armor I'm going to give to the Neca figure. Someone also mentioned in the comments that the Mezco mask reminds them more of an AVP kind of look, Alien vs Predator, and I think it's all that pitting and the mesh on the eyes. Yeah, the more I look at it, especially beside the Neca one, it should definitely just be a smoother finish with less pitting and some nice scuff marks from the bullets bouncing off it. And there's quite a dark tone to it as well. So it is interesting. Now next one is accessories, and I would give that to the Mezco figure. He comes with a little bit extra stuff than the Neca one does. They both come with an alternative head, but the Mezco one has the option to swap out the mandibles for closed mandibles or open ones. And the Mezco figure does come with more hands than the Neca one, and the Mezco figure also comes with a beautiful stand or base for the figure's foot to clip into, and it's very sturdy. And the med kit, the blaster effect, the different length blades, and the skull and spine there. Whereas the Neca one does come with some great stuff. He comes with a skull and spine and a separate skull, a spare biomask, a spare head, the plasma cast effect, and 2 spare hands. And yeah, it's really good. But technically the Mezco one does come with more, and the all important stand as well is always an advantage. So accessories I'm giving to Mezco. Next one is boxes, and I'm going to give that to the Neca figure because I prefer the image. Like I mentioned in the review, the image on the front of the Mezco confuses the hell out of me because I remember that exact picture being on the front cover of Blu-rays for a special release of Predator that came out years ago, and I remember recognizing that as a picture of the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Biomask and dreads. You can tell by the way they're flaring out at the sides and all the details. All the little dings and knocks are exactly the same as on the Hot Toys Biomask, plus you've got the grid effect that the mask has from Hot Toys. It doesn't seem to be that obvious in the real movie, so it does seem like Mezco, whether they knew it or not, have used a picture of a Hot Toys 1/6 scale Jungle Hunter head for their box, which is just so bizarre. And I'm not sure if that is an image of the actual Neca figure, because I have a t-shirt with that exact picture on it, and I can't remember if I got that t-shirt before this came out or not, probably after. But I just prefer that kind of red and black look that this has. It's very simple, very classy, does the job, it's very effective, and it's not a picture of a different company's head sculpt. It's just madness. But yeah, the box I'm given to Neca. Next one's posability, and I'm going to give that to the Neca figure as well, because the Neca figure has double bend elbows, so you can get his hand right up by his face. There's also an extra kind of swivel point on the arm just below the shoulder that the Neca figure has that the Mezco figure does not. So that's about as much as you can bend the elbow on the Mezco figure, plus you're missing that swivel point on the upper arm as well. And other than that, he's a really good figure for posing, but the Neca one is definitely capable of more. There's more options there, more chance to come up with your own unique pose that no one else will come up with. You know, it's more articulation points, just allow for more creativity. So posability goes to Neca. Now when it comes to the 2 head sculpts with the actual Predator face showing, this is a tricky one. Now definitely the Mezco one's way too pale and lacking in paint detail. The eyes are coming through nicely and they seem pretty good. You can see the quills, but there's more quills on one side than there is on the other. Our right hand side, the side we're looking at on the right, has more than the one on the left, and those black dots at the top aren't really as dark as they should be. And while he shouldn't be too yellow, he's definitely in need of a bit of a yellow wash or something, just a subtle one. The Neca one, I just like the kind of spot detail a little bit more, and the eyes are really small and quite hidden in there. Try and zoom in a bit, see if we can get them to come through. I tilted the head up, but you still can't really see the eyes. They are there though. I just prefer the Neca one. Now the dreads, that's a different kettle of fish again. They're very kind of stiff, and I prefer the dreads on the head of the Mezco, and I do like those eyes, and the sculpt looks great. I think it just needs a repaint. So, you know, taking all the options of customization and repaints out of the equation, just a visual, you know, standpoint, I would say that I think I prefer the look of the Predator 1 Neca head sculpt here. So I'll give the head sculpt to Neca. So Neca came out on top. Neca got 5 categories. The Mezco took 3 categories away, but 5 is more than 3. So turns out the Neca figure is the more accurate of the 2. And cheaper. There's a lot more of them out there, and watch out for the fake ones from China, but just make sure you're getting a genuine one. But yeah, Neca took it in the end. But I still stand by what I said in the review. I do believe this is the best, one of the very best Predator figures ever made. Action figures, mind, not statues included, because statues are just amazing when it comes to Predator. There's so many amazing options out there. They're so big and expensive though. But yeah, as far as action figures go, this is just really, really high up there. It's for the scale, that's the thing. It looks like a Hot Toys figure, just smaller. But it's still a nice satisfying size, but it really is on par with the best Hot Toys Predator figure. And I do think it is the best Jungle Hunter figure that we have right now. But it does feel a bit weird saying that after the, you know, these comparisons, knowing that the Biomask could look more like this, and the armor being a little bit better as well on the Neca one. It's just, you know, the overall pleasing factor with this is so high. And if you have this figure already, we'll see if we can get the mask looking better. So let me go try that, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up the video. If you can see here, side by side, the Neca Biomask on the left, the Mezco on the right, they're pretty much the exact same size. So even more temptation to do what needs to be done. So you will be glad to know, and it's kind of mind-blowing how easy this is and the effect it has, but I thought I might have to do some dremeling or something like that. You literally just remove the Mezco mask from the Mezco head that has the light up feature, and you take the spare Neca Biomask. I heated it up a little bit just to make it a bit more pliable when I was putting it on there. And because, like I showed you a moment ago, the Biomask from both companies, even though they're different scales, is the same size, it goes right on there. So that is the Mezco head sculpt with the Mezco dreads, but with the spare Biomask from the Neca figure. And it looks incredible. And that's just going to go straight on this figure, and it's going to look insane. But first, I need to do some black washes on it. So that will be coming up in a video soon, folks. I'll be showing you how it looks with the Neca Biomask on the Mezco figure. I think it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. Wow. So that is exciting. Phone's ringing.